My name is Gary Lesoing. I'm an extension educator with the University of Nebraska Lincoln. I work as a part of the Soil Health Nexus. I work a lot with cover crops. I'm also a Nebraska State SARE coordinator. We're doing a soil health infiltration rate demo. You have a 6-inch diameter piece of pipe. It could be like an irrigation pipe, and then cut it about 5.5 inches long. And then you find an area that's, well, ideally, if there is vegetation there, you cut that off, and you try to find an area that's as level as possible in this comparison. And then put in the ground, and you use a, like a board on top. And when you're a mallet to pound it in, and when you're pounding it in, you want to do it as even as possible, and you don't want to disrupt the soil around there, because you'll make like a gap or a crack, and so the infiltration readings will be inaccurate. And you pound it in about 3 inches into the soil. And you check and make sure, if there are little cracks there, make sure they're sealed, so that's not going to be an impact on the infiltration rate in there. Sometimes we do have, there may be like a wormhole or something, and it infiltrates very fast, and then so sometimes you have to throw these out because they don't get a true indication of the actual infiltration. So you can usually tell when that happens. Then you want to have like saran wrap, and you put this over top the water, so as you pour the water in, it won't be, it'll all be at the same time. It won't be it's impacted by the water. The next step is we're going to add equivalent to 1 inch of water. So that is 442 milliliters. And you use distilled water, so you don't have the effect of ionization affecting how something may be going to the water faster or slower based upon what you have in the soil. Then we make sure your saran wrap is covering the bottom of the cylinder. And then you pour it in here.
Somebody asked me where you get these, but I don't know. I found them in the cupboard. Came from the Ag Engineering Department in 1960.
And now you pull it up and start your clock. This first inch is kind of to standardize it. So usually you'll do 2 inches. The first inch, we standardize it. And then after that first inch, we'll do another inch. We measure both of them. But a lot of times there's differences, maybe because of more rainfall or something of that nature, or you just want to have it at a steady state. So that's why we use the second inch, gets a more true indication of soil infiltration rate. It's important because, especially in the dry situations, if we were in a drought and we get a heavy rain and you don't have much maybe residue cover or whatever there, or the management system you're using, if it all runs off, it's not helping your crops, your plants, and it's just running off, not providing any good for the soil or for the plants your crops growing. But that's extremely important, and also it could cause soil erosion, and kind of seal the soil so it isn't coming in. But if you do get, we're seeing more and more of these heavier rains, and if you can infiltrate, say 2 inches an hour, that's great. Compared if you have it's very compacted, maybe you're only getting a half an inch an hour, and there a lot it's going to run off and it's just going down the river, causing problems, maybe erosion, and not being to be able to utilize for the crop. If you're getting 2 or more inches per hour, that's a pretty good rate of infiltration. And also for the soil types, they have different infiltration rates, and you can find these on soil surveys in regard. But like different management systems, like the use of cover crops, and also use of manure, we are increasing the infiltration up to 4.5 inches per hour compared to about 2 inches or 2.5 inches with just a no-till. So these other management systems was increasing the infiltration rate. The one thing that farmers can do and educators can do is comparing different types of management, comparing like no-till versus tillage. When you do it, you want to, like I said, do it at the same time. And so it's comparing apples to apples.